Hey, this is Shelby Davis. I just got finished watching the news on the Baltimore riots, and it infuriates me. My passion is basically families. I have a bunch of passions, and I just get a holy anger. But I've been doing a study on the family project in Sunday school, and it's just really opens my eyes to how things need to be and how Christ meant for families to be in marriages. And I think that is what our problem is. So the reason we are having trouble today and people rioting and all this crime and all this, it goes down to families and adults not taking responsibility for their actions, and people not fearing God. And I understand not everybody's a Christian. I understand that. But even atheists agree that families are the foundation of society. Because statistics and science even says, which science backs up the Bible, so I don't know what the deal is with these scientists that don't believe in God. I mean, it backs it up, but whatever. That's a whole other story. But science even says that men and women that grow up in broken homes, fatherless homes, motherless homes, without parents, are more likely, 90% of the time, they either end up in jail, they're confused about their sexuality, they are more likely to get divorced, don't know how to raise their kids, they're going to be abusive, or they have issues because it is emotionally unstable. And they don't know how to deal with it. Especially the ones that aren't Christians. And I grew up in a broken home. I mean, as a child, I was raised right. But I was thankful that if they were going to get a divorce, it was when I was older and I could make my own decisions. Now, I still went a little bit crazy, went on my wild streak, but I found Christ and I became a Christian and I started changing. And so sometimes, by the grace of God, if you find Christ, then you will turn out fine. But most of the time, in a broken home, especially when it's at a younger age, you have issues. You have depression, insecurity, and all that too. So that's science. That is science. So I want to tell you, take responsibility for your actions. You're married. Say you're married. And my husband is just not meeting my needs. He's not paying attention to me. So I'm going to look for it elsewhere. And I'm going to message this guy and he'll meet my needs. And that's okay because my husband is not meeting my needs and he's not being sweet to me and loving me like he should. Well, I hate to tell you this, but that's really selfish. And you're thinking of yourself over your kids. Your kids are going to grow up in a broken home because you made that decision to have that affair. You might not even get a divorce, but you're going to go through a hard time because you're going to cheat on your husband because he's not meeting your needs. Whoopsie-doo. There is more to life than having people be nice to you. And that's wrong. That's what's wrong with this society. We want everything to be happy. We just want to be happy. Well, guess what? Marriage is not about being happy. God created marriage so we can exemplify and witness better. So we can have a partner because two is better than one. And so we can multiply and we can overtake this world with Christians, which is not what we're doing now. But The whole point is for us to exemplify Christ and the church and how we live the church. And that's the whole point. And let me tell you something else. Love is unconditional. It is not a feeling. When you feel love, it's easy. But when you don't, that's when the trials are. And they say that 50% of marriages today in divorce are Christian marriages. And atheists are like, well, tell me that, Shelby. Well, guess what? If you're not a Christian, you're not going to understand this. But Christian marriages are under a spiritual attack of Satan. It's harder to have a Christian marriage because you are under a microscope. The devil is putting thoughts in your head. It's not about, your struggle is not with flesh. It's in a spiritual realm. And it's harder because Satan attacks us because he doesn't want us to be that example. He wants everyone to say, well, Christian marriages, most of them end in divorce, so I don't want to be a Christian. And why are marriages failing? Because the parents are not teaching these Christians how to be Christians and how to give it to God. They're showing them how to do it fleshly. And it's not a flesh battle. It's a spiritual battle that needs spiritual help. Hello? So, of course, there might be more marriages still that are not Christian because the devil isn't attacking them and it's easier. Mind blown, I know. Anyway, so the problem with today's society is there are less families, less foundations, less Christ-centered marriages, and there's more selfish people not taking responsibility for their actions, wanting their needs met, and not seeking to love others and put others before themselves. There you go. And you know where the families fall apart and why they fall apart? Because they're not fearing God and they're not loving other people. You can't just love people. You can't just love people. Because after a while that gets kind of weary. You get kind of weary of that, and that can't be your drive. You've got to fear God too. Because sometimes when your needs aren't being met, you're going to start being selfish. And you're going to be like, I'm really tired of loving you right now. Even though it's unconditional. Especially women, we're built on emotions. We just go from emotion to another. But when we fear God, that's when we become level-headed. So, fearing God results to better families. Better stable families result to a more capable person and a more successful person. And I'm not just talking about money and jobs. I'm talking about a kind-hearted person, a person who loves others and will work hard and does not have a sense of entitlement all the time. So, if you're thinking about divorce right now, because your husband's not meeting your needs, you're just not happy, think again. Even if you don't have children, even you're setting that example for people, and especially if you're a Christian. So, if you want to help society, stay married. And if you're miserable and you don't know how to have a Christ-centered marriage, how about you ask God? Quit reading all these self-help books. Ask God. Read the Bible. It's in there. Pray about it. Another thing. Abortion. If you're a girl that has had sex with your boyfriend and you're pregnant and you're like, oh, I don't know what to do with this baby. I'm not ready. Guess what? You're never ready. You just learn. And if you don't think you can support it, and give it a good home. Get up for adoption. There's a lot, thousands of people who were put up for adoption, that were almost aborted but didn't get aborted, put up for adoption, found wonderful families, gotten a wonderful home, and found Christ, and are great assets to the kingdom today. You gave them a chance. But the answer is not abortion. The answer is not having sex. That's the answer. Get married. And if your husband's beating you and you're in danger, then get help. And I don't have an answer for that one. I mean, you pray about it, figure it out. I understand there's people in danger and you need to get out. That's understandable. But the answer would have been before is to figure out who you're marrying. Don't go on a whim. Figure it out. And I know some people turn crazy. You thought you knew them. I understand that. That's a whole nother episode. But anyway, moral of this story is, and the answer to the riots in Baltimore, if you want them to stop, stay married, have a good family, have it Christ-centered, quit being selfish, quit letting the devil in. It's all in Scripture. Read it. Do it. Pray about it. That's all I got. Thanks. Have a blessed day.